See that? Can everyone see and hear me? All right, from beginning. So it should be kind of full screen there.
You're looking good.
Actually, let me share it a different way. Set up slideshow. Hang on, let me just do the full screen because so it's not over. Is that better?
Yeah, it still looks good.
All right, cool. All right, this is yeah, I shortened the name to the Python script. How's everyone doing? Thank you so much for having me. I'm Peter. I'm not Steve Jobs, but I play him on TV. Just kidding. So this is a political map, and the idea is from the following. There's a world's smallest political quiz out there that asks basically these 5 very pointed personal questions and very polarizing ones where you can only do yes, no, or maybe. And then 5 economic ones, yes, no, or maybe. They assign 20 points for every yes, fully agree. And then down here, there's this sort of continuum where your score out on the economic issues and the personal one, you come in, you have a point. So recently, and they also have a card version front and back that's, a wallet card or handout that you can give to people that does the same thing. So recently a buddy sent me this thing. I don't know if you can read it, but there's 154 different political ideologies, very strange things here. Christian theocracy, social democracy, monarchism. There's like green things down in the lower left. So I had the idea, what if a quiz could assign weights to those questions, and ask dozens more of the questions, and then based on, I guess the script programmers' weights of those questions, throw a point out on this spectrum at the end and kind of show someone where they align. Basically, here's kind of tongue-in-cheek graphic that I found of what these quadrants kind of are. I'm not going to read those out loud. You can look at them, but basically, it's more than just economic left and economic right. As you go vertically, it's authoritarian and libertarian as you go down. So this got me thinking, what if I just typed all of these ideologies into a Python script, 1 per line, and then assign rectangle, or had an overlay, maybe put a red X next to where the person fell for their ideology. Just to go into sort of a concepts or planning, or how to prevent carpal tunnel I have over here. Google Docs actually has under tools, there's a voice typing feature where you can allow it to access your microphone, and you reload the tab, you click to speak, and I basically had it type out as I spoke, da-da-da-da, comma, da-da-da-da, every single one of these 154 ideologies, so they're ready to go. Then what I did to kind of have them ready for a Python script is copied the text, which you can see has fonts and colors and formatting, basically pasted it into Notepad to kind of demote or downgrade to just plain text, took out these 1, 2, 3, and 4 to just commas. Apologize, this is not very much Python yet, but it's just kind of a neat way to leverage technology and use the software to, get or help you with data entry. So I pasted from Notepad into Word, did Control H for find and replace. I put just a comma space, and then you can use this special button here to replace all comma spaces with a manual line break. There's probably a quick way to do this in Excel or write a Python script to do it. And then you hit replace all, and it said 153 replacements. So that's how I know that I have 154 ideologies. I pasted them into Excel. I'm trying to hurry here to get to the script itself. I basically added some columns to be ready to add the upper left rectangle coordinate and the lower right rectangle coordinate. Everything in the chat, all right? Cool. Somebody likes ideology, space, gay, communism. The source of that, what's it called? The source of that, this is either Reddit or Pinterest, or people have made homemade ones or added to it. It wasn't an official one that was out there. So there might be some that aren't really political ideologies on there. But it basically, so then I needed to get the upper left X value and the lower right, and then the width and height of each item's rectangle. So again, there's probably a way in Python to write a script where you would just, click top left, click top right, have it log all those coordinates to a file for you. Maybe there's even a way visually that it could detect where all these squares are. For two of these, I threw it into a graphical program called GIMP. And when I dragged, let's say, Leninism, it showed down here the XY coordinates and the size of the rectangle. Did the same thing for anarcho-capitalism, put the values into Excel, and got a working script. Well, let me open this. It will not. Why won't it let me open this? Let me just go out and do it this way. So I got a working script here, and my first idea was to just have a big red X as a transparent PNG file and throw it on at some coordinates. I think it does width, height. Where does it actually put it? But it was an actually a working script. And can you see what I'm sharing here? Sorry.
We can only see the presentation.
Sorry, here's the script where it actually worked. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, so from pill, which is pillow, it's basically for watermarking, putting their company logo onto a graphic. You can do transparency if it's PNG, obviously. And then here's the actual command. With the input image was before, and then the watermark with transparency. You tell it the first item is the output that will be political watermarked, and then what do you want overlaid on it? This 50 by 50 PNG, and the position where it's actually going to put it. Okay, sorry, let me go back to the presentation. So I didn't realize my X was 600 by 600, so I got this on the first one. Then reduced it to 50 by 50 and was able to throw it on there. But I noticed that it was covering some of the text. I thought, what if I made different squares of different sizes to overlay? But you can see there's tons of different sizes of boxes here, so that wasn't going to be ideal. So I came up with a different script, which is this one, went to Google to explore, and I think it's this one. Okay, so this one is not working, unfortunately, but what it does is it uses Matplotlib to draw a custom rectangle on the screen of varying sizes, and with the axes, and here's the actual command for the size of the rectangle. based on, again, that kind of spreadsheet data entry that I was doing. And then I got a little confused about this figure AX and then pi plot subplots. I think they're kind of making a shortcut called AX in order to call, to maybe type less later to actually show the rectangled image compiled together. I can come back to this in the questions, but eventually what the script will do is it'll just put a red rectangle on the screen there. And that's pretty much all I have. I wish I had it working where we could edit it in real time, but since I'm going last here, it's sort of towards the end. So, the kind of mostly
Awesome.
concepts of how to plan a script and build it up and get a lot of data. And I had some notes about where I could go from here, just to add to that. The source of the questions could be either inline, 100 or I don't know how many questions could be inline in the script, or they could be in a CSV file or a MySQL database. The owner of the script has to kind of assign arbitrary weights and, based on opinion, skew things to different quadrants on that political map. And then eventually the ideal is to have this all be web enabled so that someone can email it to themselves or to a friend and, hey, I took the political quiz, here's the link. Hope I didn't bulldoze through it, but
if you want to,
and I was actually thinking I can go ahead, Hobson.
Hobson, your audio is cutting out.
All right, I forget his question because he'll come back. But what was your purpose? I mean, I took the diamond shaped quiz. I took the diamond shaped quiz at the Libertarian booth at the Adams Avenue Street Fair.
Yeah.
They immediately determined that I was not somebody they wanted to deal with. In fact, they ignored me for the rest of the time that I stood there at the.
I found a bunch of these hot button websites with way more questions than the 10 that are on here.
Yes.
And
yes.
I was very interested that there are all these kind of, green things and authoritarian, and thought it'd be neat that someone could kind of, when they go to the polls, they understand.
No, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, we don't need we don't need how many
154 ideologies.
Yeah, we don't need that many parties or candidates. We need a few more. We need some with some integrity.
Well,
But what about starting with where you think you're at and getting you to where you really are at with the minimum number of questions? Because I think I could touch the square where I think I am, and then you might convince me that I need to shift. And if everybody would shift a little bit, eventually we might all be somewhere.
but I don't. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I mean, should these sort of tests be even taken seriously? I mean, it's a fun project. I will say, for Matplotlib, I think AX refers to axes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in fact, I'm looking at because I played with Matplotlib before in the past, and I'm actually looking at the usage guide right now, and yeah, my memory is right. So AX actually refers to axes. Unfortunately, I can't remember enough to help you more with that, but that could give you an idea.
Yeah, the website I found, it was kind of like, here's the basic things you need, now you can make it. And it was like, no, I need the last few steps that put it all together.
Yeah, I mean, my only suggestion is, I remember Matplotlib being fun, but also being kind of dense. I guess the only thing is just keep plugging away at it and check out all the great tutorials on the matplotlib.org page.
Cool. Yeah,
It's
and
like- It seems like if you ask a whole bunch of questions, each question would give you a different dot in a different space. So then you would have a scatter plot over your entire field,
yeah.
and then how do you group that? It may have a natural grouping, or it may be scattered all over the place, but it will
Yeah.
probably be the majority of them in, like you say, in one quadrant, or in one small area of a couple of quadrants.
Yeah, that kind of thing got me thinking, rather than just abstaining from a question, someone could put, you know, a 0 to 10 that this is not very important to me. And it would skew the dot, you know, not as far as if they had, if it just said, oh, well, then you said no to this, you know, that kind of thing. The importance to somebody.
I do feel like a project where you get people to think about, well, you know, maybe I don't neatly fit into this box or that box, you know, like that could be a cool project.
Yeah, it sounds great, but don't expect people to be consistent. So
Oh, it's a fun, if nothing else,
Yeah.
I think it is a fun, challenging visualization project, right?
Yeah, I think it's more for that than rather expecting people to actually be consistent with their political views. I know any kind of quiz online, people will take the quiz over to find the answer that they actually want.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
It's like I took that Harry Potter quiz and I was sad when I found out my avatar was a mouse, right? So
And then you
Yeah.
take it again until you get
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Any last questions before we maybe wrap up the talks portion? We can get to like an informal chat or something.
I just really quickly, will the presenter come back when he's come further along to show
Sure.
what he's like a part two? I'm curious.
Sure.
All right.
Did Hobson drop? I was actually thinking I could paste these scripts into the Slack channel and have people attack and fix it, but then that helps me too much, right? I don't learn.
Yeah, exactly.
People
Your
just-
adoring fans, they're waiting for an
gotta put on your-
encore.
Exactly. I believe, isn't
Just
there a
put
Saturday get together?
Yeah.
Where that might be more.
Yeah, we could. I have my Raspberry Pi here that it's running on. We could hack it in real time.
if you're doing this for fun, you could also code things for cognitive dissonance, and you could code things to respond back to them and say, wait a second, you just said this, but you actually answered something completely different over here. What are you thinking? So you
Yeah.
could add some sarcasm and have some real fun with that. It sounds like
That's like
make it a much longer project than you ever anticipated.
like an online survey will ask you a similar question again, a different way, to make sure you're not just clicking, you know. And then
Exactly.
if they see contradictory info, they're like, throw this one out. Yeah.
It's
That
called
would be
psychometrics.
funny, actually.
Psychometrics. It's a really important field these days.